Hi, this is Yolanda Vanveen, and next we're going to talk about how to grow healthy azaleas. Now, I love azaleas and rhododendrons, and azalea is in the rhododendron family, so they're all related. And I grew up on Mount Hood, and in the woods behind my parents' house, we had lots of rhododendrons and azaleas naturally growing, and they were just gorgeous. So when you're growing them in your garden, you've got to remember their natural conditions. They like mountains. I am convinced they do not grow well next to a lake. I lived next to Lake Vancouver for a while and tried to grow them in the muck, and they just rotted right out. So even if you live next to a lake or you have really clay, really dense soil, make raised beds with lots of organic material. They grow in the canopy of the pine trees in North America. So they really like lots of moisture, and they're growing right on the pine needles and the leaves from the deciduous trees. So they're not really even growing in soil. They're kind of growing just in that mulch. So raise them up and give them lots of mulch and lots of drainage. So the trick with azaleas is they want to be moist and never dry, but yet they need good drainage, and they want to grow where there's lots of mulch and where it's, the water just flows right out. And they want some humidity. They don't do well in real desert conditions. But they're easy to grow as long as you give them lots of water. And a lot of times, if you live in a really hot climate, hot sun will fry them. So put them in part shade or underneath some other trees, and they'll do really well. The thing I like about azaleas is they're very forgiving. So even if they get sunburned or they get ratty, just trim them down, and they love to be trimmed. The more they trim them, the better they do. Now, they say the best time to trim them down is in early spring when they've started to set buds and they're still kind of lanky, and then you kind of even it all out, maybe cutting a third of it down. And then the blooms that are remaining are going to become stronger and are going to fill it up. But my attitude is prune plants when you get the chance, because I don't do anything on a schedule. I can't keep up. So if I look outside and it looks a little bit ratty, I just kind of trim it down and even it out. And as soon as the blooms are done too, the best thing you can do is pinch them off. Some people say cut them off or pinch them off right as they turn dry. And then that way you'll get more blooms for the next year. But my attitude about most plants is they grow in the forest without anyone pinching them down or anyone really taking care of them. As long as they get the moisture and the right conditions, they'll do well in your garden just as they do in the wild.